So here we are coming from the Austrian mountains to the Dutch dunes. We are here in Zandvoort, right at the beach. It's one of the most beautiful racetracks in the calendar, embedded into the dunes. The fans love it and the drivers love it. But this time we're keeping our eyes especially on two drivers.
Full throttle with a view to the sea. The DTM visits Zandvoort in the Netherlands. Ahead of the second race weekend, one name in particular is on everyone's lips.
A race win for Maro Engel.
Maro Engel with an outstanding performance.
After his victory and third place finish in the season opener at the Red Bull Ring, the Mercedes ace arrives at the second international round as the points leader. And things are going well outside the DTM too. At the legendary 24-hour race at the Nürburgring, Engel left everyone in his dust and claimed a second overall victory. A dream start to 2026.
Really pleased, really happy, and obviously now motivated and looking forward to continuing the success.
His ride on this wave of success is set to continue at the June circuit. The veteran already knows how to do it. In 2023, he stood on the top step of the podium.
It's a bit of a mini Nordschleife here in Zandvoort. It's a great track built into the nature, great flow. I love coming here, especially when the weather's as good as it is now. And obviously great memories for 2023. Would be great if we could repeat them.
That's exactly what Thierry Vermeulen is hoping for. The Dutchman wants to finally secure his first victory in his fourth DTM season, and he'd love to do it at his home race in front of his fans.
I think if I could pick a spot, it would definitely be here at my home race. So already prepared very good for this one. But here in DTM it's of course very competitive and everything needs to come together to make it happen.
Engel, Vermeulen and the rest of the team got their first warm-up for the race weekend 2 days before the first race, though without a car, at the Best Water Run. The BWT charity run, in which the entire paddock could participate, aims to raise awareness of global water scarcity. Arjun Maini was the fastest DTM driver to cross the finish line, ahead of Nicky Tim, but lap times didn't matter here.
No, it's obviously for a good case, so happy to do it. Big push and great to see there's so many are involved. So yeah, happy, nice weather, perfect.
Everything is set for two spectacular races at Zandvoort as the hunt for championship points continues.
In Zandvoort, it almost feels a tiny bit like vacation rather than hard work. But of course, for the drivers, that's a whole different story, because the man who worked really hard in qualifying is Matteo Caroli. Congratulations to a superb qualifying. You did a fantastic job. Your first season, it's the second round, and already you got your pole. So what are you going to make out of it?
I mean, for sure I would like to convert it into a race win or possibly a podium. I mean, I think this is a weekend where the opportunity is kind of there. So I want to maximize what we have and the result, of course. Team, of course, did a great job. I mean, giving me the car that I was looking for.
So 3 qualifying sessions in 2026 thus far and 3 different pole sitters. The crowd is gathered here ready for the start of race 1 of the weekend. This is how the grid shapes up. Right at the back after an oil problem in qualifying is Kelvin van der Linde. Then on the 10th row of the grid, Timo Glock starting 20th and Nicola Bart alongside him in the Aston Martin. Finn Fiebelhaus and Mirko Bortolotti up next on row 9. On row 8, Arjun Maini and Max Powell, who was on the podium here last year. Tom Callender starts 14th. Marco Mappelli with his best qualifying so far starts 13th. Marco Wittmann, a former race winner here, and Ricardo Feller are up next. Then it's Thomas Preining, the 2023 champion, and Nicky Tim. 8th on the grid, Maro Engel, the championship leader. Luca Engstler for company, the best of the Lamborghinis. Then it's Jules Gounon in 6th. Ben Durr, an impressive 5th. Bastian Booth starting 4th. Lucas Auer, 2nd in the championship, starts 3rd. But on the front row, it's a Ferrari lockout. Thierry Vermeulen and Matteo Cairoli for the Emil Frey Racing team. We're all set then for 55 minutes plus 1 lap of racing here at Zandvoort. My name's Chris Hartley and this is DTM 2026. To the left of the picture then, the pole sitter, Matteo Cairoli, about to lead the rolling start into life as they now charge towards Tarzan for the first time. Heading up towards the first turn though, the blue Mercedes of Lucas Auer has got a tremendous start. He's going to get up the inside of the Ferrari of Thierry Vermeulen and straight into second place. So Luki Auer, who hasn't been off the podium so far this year, straight into second place. Vermeulen is 3rd, Bastian Booth is 4th. Jules Gounon has made a good start into 5th place ahead of the McLaren of Ben Durr. through the 18-degree banking at Hugenholtz they go, and look at this, sure going on the attack here, trying to find a way past Bastien Bus, 2 wheels on the grass for the Frenchman, but he couldn't quite get past the Dane, up towards the top of the hill at 230 kilometres an hour, and it's downhill into the right-hander at Schleivat. There is Thomas Preining in the Grello Porsche, around the outside of Nicky Tim, bodywork is traded, bits fly off the Porsche, he's just about ahead of the Aston Martin, but the Aston Martin is on the inside line here right now with Nicky Tim, who got Country Racing's best finish so far in the DTM, last time out at the Red Bull Ring with a 5th place, but Preining is ahead as they make their way through now towards the end of the 2nd sector. So a lively start, Preining just about picking up that 9th place ahead of Nicky Tim, who rounds out the top 10. Not too much progress made at the back of the field yet for the gold, red and yellow BMW of Kelvin van der Linde, the 2024 championship runner-up, coming back after a season away from DTM, now as a BMW factory driver, having won the GT World Challenge overall last year, the Nürburgring 24-hour race last year, Bathurst and the Intercontinental GT Championship, all in his first season as a BMW driver. Hasn't been a race winner here at Zandvoort so far in the DTM. The last time he raced here, he was, of course, as an Audi driver for Abt. Right, let's get a look at a replay of the start. Perfect stuff from Matteo Cairoli, who has topped every session so far this weekend. Lugiauer straight into 2nd place. Thierry Vermeulen couldn't do anything about the Mercedes driver coming through for Landgraf. Landgraf, as a team, race winners here in 2023 when they ran Maro Engel to victory. Maro picking up his 3rd DTM win, last time out at the Red Bull Ring to move into the championship lead. A replay on board with Bastien Bus. It's a pretty tight squeeze into that 2nd gear corner at Tarzan. They approach it at full chat at over 250 kilometres an hour. On board with Thierry Vermeulen. Just to the inside there, the Mercedes. And he gave him room, tried to nudge him back on the way out of the corner as they ran in towards Gerlach at turn 2. But the Austrian was through. As Marco Wittmann in the green Schubert Motorsport BMW arriving here, 3rd in the championship this weekend. Qualifying has been a bit of an issue for the BMW driver, the 2-time champion so far this year. But he's done more overtaking than anybody else in the 2 races so far this season. Picked up a 2nd and a 5th at the Red Bull Ring. Behind him is the Mustang of Arjun Maini. But the hot conditions that we've got here, the high track temperatures, do not suit the Mustang, which tends to overheat its tyres a little bit. Only the 2nd season for the Mustang in the DTM. Arjun Maini, the Indian driver, though, trying to get up into the points. Finished in the top 10 here last year, despite some troubles in qualifying. It has been on the back foot a little bit with that car so far this weekend.
Mate, you're faster than him. We need to overtake. We need to overtake.
Arjun being egged on here to try and find a way through past Wittmann. They're 12th and 13th. Marco Mappelli is just behind in 14th. Max Powell, who got Powell Motorsports' one and only podium in the DTM here last year, finishing in 3rd place. A great result for a small team. He's now come back as a factory driver, racing for Grasser in the new Lamborghini Temerario, which was not very competitive on its debut at the Red Bull Ring, but is looking much more lively here this weekend. 2 Lamborghinis run by the Red Bull Abt team and 2 run by the TGI by GRT team. Right, there is Jules Gounon still staring at the rear wing of the Land Porsche of Bastien Bus, who a few years ago became the youngest ever Porsche Super Cup champion, and he's making his debut this season in the DTM. Had a 4th place on track at the Red Bull Ring, but was penalised after the race for contact with Ben Durr near the start of the race, which put the McLaren driver in the end into the wall. There was nothing malicious about it. Ben at the start of lap 2 got onto the curbs through turn 1, got slightly out of shape. Bastien was a bit too close to him. There was contact. The McLaren went into the barriers, required overnight repair work to get the McLaren driver back out for the next day. Durr Motorsport did a great job, and in the end on Sunday, Ben got his best finish so far in the DTM, which was the 7th place. Bastien, though, penalised, dropped from 4th to 14th. Going well here, though, running in 4th place, keeping behind him Jules Gounon. Right, here's this battle again between Thomas Preining and the Aston Martin of Nicky Tim. For many, many years has been a factory driver for Aston Martin, but this is actually the first time he's raced an Aston Martin in the DTM. He's raced Lamborghinis up to this point. Mario Schubauer, who took SSR Performance and Mirko Bortolotti to championship success 2 years ago, has joined the team as a team manager this year, the Belgian squad. They brought in Nicky Tim with all of his experience, and they already impressed in their first season last year. Led a race at the end of the year at Hockenheim with Jules Magnus. But they're doing a very good job, Come To You Racing, Francois Verbeest's team. Right, into the mandatory pit window then. Everyone has to come in this 20-minute pit window and change tyres. Here at Zandvoort, the teams get 4 sets of new Pirelli tyres, which have to last 2 qualifying sessions and 2 races. Boost is in and Dur is in, 2 of our top 6 runners. Change the rears first, then change the fronts. A really good pit stop time is around about 6.5 seconds. We do see sub 6 second stop time sometimes. We had a 5.9 from Emil Frey for Matteo Caroli at the opening weekend at Red Bull Ring. 2024 champion Mirko Bortolotti released, trying to get himself up into the points. And this is Marco Mappelli in the Red Bull Abt being released right into the path of Mirko Bortolotti. Argemani's right behind them. There's 3 of them all trying to vie for position here, coming out of the pit lane exit. And they wipe out a cone as well. And in the end, Mappelli lets them go. So it's Bortolotti that comes out on top, ahead of Maini, ahead of Mappelli. Here's a replay of it. There's a bit of aggro between these 2 drivers in the Nürburgring 24-hour race the week prior to Zandvoort. And there you see, it wasn't room for everybody. The cone was the object that came off the worst in the end. But that is under investigation for an unsafe release and also for driving in unison down the pit lane together. So that will be looked at after the race. Thierry Vermeulen in then from 3rd place. Good stop again from Emil Frey. Have had the best pit stop so far this season. Jules Gounon is released. There is Matteo Cairoli in the lead of the race by nearly 2.5 seconds from Lucas Auer. Maro Engel up to 3rd for the time being, but everybody's still got to make this mandatory pit stop, remember. It does take a lap to get the tyres up to temperature after you've changed tyres. There are no tyre warmers allowed. It's a softer compound, slightly softer compound of rubber that Pirelli have developed for this year's championship. A new tyre for the season, which is only being used in the DTM. Right, Luki Auer comes in. Reduces his speed to 50 kilometers an hour, the maximum speed you can do down the pit lane once you cross that white line. He crawls almost towards his pit box, the Landgraf team. Last year's championship runner-up then comes in for his stop. How is this going to go for Lugi? All good so far at the back of the car. Bit sticky. Wasn't the best pit stop. 7.3 seconds, it's okay. Should keep him in the running, that. In the background, Riccardo Feller came in. Matteo Cairoli is still out on track at the moment. But now he comes in, trying to look after his tyres as well, because degradation of tyres is pretty high here at Zandvoort. It's a very abrasive circuit. The first part of the lap up to turn 3 has been resurfaced, but the rest of it is very abrasive on the tyres, and it's much hotter than normal for this time of year. It's about 12, 13 degrees warmer than it was for this race last year. We had rain-affected Saturday. All right, away they go. And Matteo Cairoli is released back out into the pit lane. Sticks again to the 50 kilometre an hour pit lane speed limit. It was a really good stop once again. 6.2 seconds. Emil Frey leading the pit stop challenge. The top 3 fastest pit stops have points for the pit stop challenge. 3, 2 and 1 points respectively. So far, they got 6 points out of 6. And Cairoli is going to come out in front of the Aston Martin of a driver that's not involved in the lead battle at the moment, which is Nicola Bart. That's his nearest rival in reality, having already made his pit stop. Luki Auer, and I think the gap, if anything, has grown between them. Thanks in no small part to the excellent work in the pits by the team, the Swiss team, Emil Frey. So the Ferrari 296 marches on. In the GT3 era of racing here at Zandvoort, so far we have had 6 races and 6 different winners from 5 brands. But Ferrari have won here before. A number 14 Ferrari won here 2 years ago for Emil Frey, and that was Jack Aitken. Away goes Maro Engel. The Mercedes now about to join in. Auer comes past, Vermeulen comes past, Boost comes past. He's going to join in and around Jules Gounon here in the Team Manfilter yellow Mercedes. Teammates they are, both run by Winwood. No, Gounon gets past as well, and so does Ben Dur. Ben Dur lost a bit of time in the pits, but he's driving quickly now, so getting his tyres up to temperature is the job for Maro Engel. As I'm afraid Timo Glock's terrible run of bad luck, which stretches all the way back to last year, continues. Picked up a 6th place finish at the Red Bull Ring, which is his best finish so far as a McLaren driver. And into the garage as well, I'm afraid, comes Tom Callender, another driver that picked up a personal best, a 4th place finish at the Red Bull Ring. Youngest driver ever in DTM. He's only just turned 18. Right, Cairoli has almost doubled his advantage during that pit stop phase. He was 2.5 seconds clear. He's now 4.3 seconds clear of Lugauer. Vermeulen in 3rd place. And Kelvin van der Linde comes into retirement, straight into the garage. That is now 2 retirements from 3 races for the South African, who's only scored 13 points so far. Got pole position on Sunday at the Red Bull Ring, but could only come home in 6th place with tyre issues. So really frustrating return to the championship so far for him. Right, Jules Gounon is still staring at the back of that rear wing of Bastien Bus. They have been nose to tail since the start of the race, these two. Running 4th and 5th. Ben Durr behind. Looking for his best finish so far in DTM. Right, Jules Gounon is about to go on the attack here. He's got a great run, heading up to 250 kilometres an hour. It's about 155 miles an hour. Hard on the brakes, down to 90 kilometres an hour. Into the right-hander, 2nd gear through Tarzan. Accelerating up now towards the left-hander at Gerlach. That big sweeping hairpin, the banked hairpin at turn 3, coming up next at Hugenholtz. But the Porsche is about a couple of car lengths clear through there, slingshotting out, keeping an eye on the mirrors as well. Young Ben Durr looking very positive here, very impressive front row qualifying at Red Bull Ring for Ben Durr. He's only really had a few years of GT3 experience and only a couple of seasons racing in this championship. The same is true of his team, Durr Motorsport, owned and run by his father, Rainer Durr. So 4th, 5th, 6th, all together on track. Maro Engel in 7th place, but remember, Maro won last time out, so he has got 20 kilograms of success ballast on board.
Come on, Drew, we get this guy. Everything you have. 8 laps.
Jules Gounon over the radio, being encouraged. You're quicker, we can get him. But Bastien Bus is making that a very wide Porsche. He's trying to make up for lost points at the Red Bull Ring. So too is Jules Gounon, who was on course for a 2nd place finish until a very late suspension failure on Saturday. That's how close it got. Halfway alongside around the outside, but Bastien Bus might be a young driver, but he's not for giving in. And onto the grass this time, coming out of turn 1 is Jules Gounon. Jules desperate to claw back points. He lost 20 in that first race retirement at the Red Bull Ring. He fancies himself as a championship contender. Let's have a look what caused all of this then. So again, Jules trying to go around the outside of Bastien Bus. This time he was much more level with him, not quite in front, but Bastien holding his racing line. Jules Gounon running out of road, or being run out of road, to the curbs, to the gravel, with all 4 wheels, just kept his throttle buried, the brave Frenchman. And another attempt fails, but he hasn't given in yet. Just a couple of minutes to go, plus 1 lap. He's trying to go around the outside on the way into the chicane now. A right followed by a left, piling the pressure on, but Bastien Bus absolutely soaking it up at the moment, doing a great job. It is allowing the 3 behind to get a bit closer as well. In 6th, 7th and 8th positions, the McLaren of Ben Durr being caught up by Maro Engel and Thomas Preining in the Porsche. There's Christian Land, team boss at Land Motorsport, just running the 1 car, the 1 Porsche this year. They ran the Audi last year of Ricardo Fella, came into the championship, got a race win as well, a fantastic race win with a pretty old car at the Red Bull Ring. So this, look, has now become 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th. A 5-way battle up ahead. Matteo Cairoli managing the gap to Lucas Auer, about 2.5 seconds. Thierry Vermeulen on course for what would be his first Zandvoort podium. He's had 4 podiums so far in his 3 years of DTM, but never won at his home circuit. A 4th place is the best that he's managed up to this point. Now, what is this? This is Nicky Tim, a replay getting past Ricardo Fella. That was a really good move under braking from a long way back. Look at this, Nicky Tim diving down the inside, sending one in the Aston Martin from a good 3 car lengths back. Excellent move by Nicky Tim to gain valuable points, up to 10th place then for the Dane. Clock almost has ticked down. We've got a warning coming out for Bastien Bus. I suspect that is for the defence, the stern defence that he put up through turn 1 against Jules Gounon. Meanwhile, Lugauer is on course for his 3rd straight podium of the season, and that will be enough to put him back into the championship lead. Maro Engel will still be pretty pleased with 7th place, given he's got that 20 kilograms of success ballast on board. The top 3 all carry ballast into the next race. And Engel doing a solid job here on a track where he has won previously. But he is about to go 5 points behind Lucas Auer in the championship fight. Thierry Vermeulen on course for his first Zandvoort podium, just behind in 3rd place. And then Bastien Boos pulled away now, hasn't he, in the black and red Porsche from Jules Gounon. On board with Thomas Preining. 8th place for the round 1 winner at the Red Bull Ring, where he picked up his 2nd home race victory in DTM, the Austrian, and also managed to lead a 1-2 Austrian finish home ahead of Lucas Auer, much to the delight of the home crowd. It didn't go so well on Sunday, though, for Preining. Only qualified 14th, had traffic, and had to abort a couple of laps in the Manthey Porsche, and he couldn't really come through. The Porsche, notoriously, is not the quickest car in terms of straight line speed, and he found it difficult to come through. Only gained 1 place in the end to finish 13th, but today has been somewhere in between, running in 8th place, but not quite making the progress that he would have liked. He's picked up a couple of places in this race, but he is pretty metronomic, Thomas, in terms of scoring points. Even on the bad days, he picks up championship points. In the whole history of the DTM, which started back in 1984, he's the driver that's had the longest streak of point-scoring finishes throughout the whole of the 2023 and 2024 seasons, and part of the 2025 season, finishing every single race in the points. So he's hanging on in there in terms of the championship. 16 rounds, don't forget. This is only round 3. And on to the final lap then comes Matteo Cairoli. He's dominated so far. Perfect job. He's only actually ever raced here twice, Matteo Cairoli, and the last time he did so was all the way back in 2019, some 7 years ago, in a different car in the GT Masters Championship. He says he's feeling more and more at home in the car, the Ferrari, every time he drives it. At the Red Bull Ring, he said, I was just driving around it. It didn't fit like a glove. It didn't suit me in particular. And he's been making lots of changes, lots of little tweaks with the car. He's not afraid to express his opinion to the team. And he's been getting the setup tweaked to suit his particular driving style. And it is working in spades this weekend. Cairoli is on course for a victory in the DTM in what's only his 3rd start, remember, in the championship. He's got a great pedigree of GT racing. He raced with Maro Engel and Lucas Auer to 2nd place in the GT World Challenge Endurance Championship last year. He's a former Porsche Carrera Cup Italy champion. He's a former Nürburgring 24-hour race winner, and he's going to be one to watch in his first season of DTM. There he comes then in the Emil Frey Racing Ferrari 296, which has had an Evo package this year. Changes to the gearbox ratios, the air inlets, the winglets on the car, lots of changes and upgrades to the car, and they're working well here. Pavel Nehodil there with the team, with a big smile on his face, looking to get this car to the line, to the checkered flag. Matteo Cairoli wins his first DTM race.
Well done, well done. Well done, Matteo.
Fantastic job by him. Lucas Auer 2nd and Thierry Vermeulen 3rd, gets his first Zandvoort podium. That after the team worked till 3 o'clock in the morning to change the Dutchman's engine. Confirmation of the results then. Cairoli becomes the 3rd winner from 3 races this season. Auer in 2nd, Vermeulen in 3rd, and then Jules Gounon promoted to 4th place in the end because a late disqualification post-race for Bastien Boos. The car was 3.5 kilograms underweight, so the Danish driver loses another 4th place finish and huge valuable points. So round 3 of the championship in the books, and a first podium of 2026 for Thierry Vermeulen. Not quite the win he would have dreamt of, but still a very good result here with a podium at Zandvoort.
We can be happy with P3 as a points and a podium here in Zandvoort for the first time. But I had some issues with the start, which was a bit frustrating because then I lost the position to Lugi. And here the track position for sure is super important. So there's some points we have to improve, or I have to improve for tomorrow.
Well, Lucas Auer suffered heartbreak at the end of last year. He was 3 corners away from becoming the DTM champion, but he's a resilient man. He's bounced back with 3 straight podiums, and he's now the championship leader.
Fast P2 was really good, so thanks to my team. It's good strategy, good pit stop, and crucial the start phase where I got P2. And after this was just a tough race for the tires.
Absolutely no doubting the star of the weekend so far, though. Matteo Cairoli has been dominant, and the Italian driver in his second weekend of DTM is now a race winner. Fantastic job.
I'm speechless, or I'm just enjoying the moment at its fullest. We knew when we came here to Zandvoort that we had a competitive car, or at least an opportunity to be strong, and that was the reality, basically. We did a very good turnaround after Red Bull Ring, which was a bit more complicated for us in terms of balance and results.
So confirmation of the standings with Lucas Auer 4 points clear. Maro Engel got promoted to 6th after the disqualification of Bastian Buus, and Thomas Preining is 3rd in the standings. Equal with him, though, on 38 points is this man, your race winner, Matteo Cairoli for Emil Frey Racing, taking victory at his 3rd attempt. So that means here at Zandvoort, over the last 3 years, we've had 7 races in the DTM and 7 different winners and 7 different pole sitters as well. There's no doubt about it. This track and this championship keeps on giving us results that we don't necessarily expect. Let's see what tomorrow brings.
We had a surprising first race here in Zandvoort with a maiden win for Matteo Cairoli. And now, of course, we're looking forward to race 2. Let's see who will make it this time.
So the Gladiators enter the arena. Luca Engstler, an exceptional 3rd on the grid in the new Lamborghini Temerario for Red Bull Team Abt. He was the pole sitter at the Nürburgring 24-hour race last week. And then 2nd, another great qualifying for Thierry Vermeulen. Can he get that first win this afternoon? Well, he'll have to get past this man if he wants to do so. Kelvin van der Linde, last on the grid yesterday, pole position for today's race.
We know it's going to be a tough race, but starting in pole position kind of gives you the wings and the good energy and the spirits to hopefully end this one in a good one.
Yeah, it does. Look, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. It's a long race here. The Sunday race are very complicated with 2 stops. We have the advantage at the end with a new set of tires, so I want to see if we can use that advantage today. But yeah, we've seen the Ferraris were very quick yesterday on the long run performance. We struggled a bit in that direction. So the first stint will be tough for me. I need to hang in there. But after that, we will see what we can do.
So here's the grid for race 2. Finn Wiebelhaus struggling with the Mustang, starting in 21st place. Tom Callender and Timo Glock on the 10th row of the grid. Then it's Arjun Maini and Nicola Bart on row 9. Row 8, Ricardo Feller and Bastian Buus, only 15th on the grid for this one. Max Powell starts 14th with Marco Wittmann, a winner here in 2024. Alongside him, then it's Marco Mappelli 12th. Maro Engel, the worst qualifying so far this season. Championship leader 11th. Jules Gounon and Nicky Timmer in the top 10. Lucas Auer, also the worst qualifying so far for him this year, starting in 8th place with Thomas Preining for company. Yesterday's winner, Matteo Cairoli and Ben Durr on row 3. Mirko Bortolotti and Luca Engstler on the 2nd row, their best qualifying since the 2024 season. Thierry Vermeulen starts 2nd again. Kelvin van der Linde, though, is on pole position. The first driver this season to get 2 pole positions in DTM. Ready for the rolling start then. Kelvin van der Linde really needs and wants to win this race. On his return to the DTM, he's had nothing much except bad luck so far this season. But Thierry Vermeulen will be determined to try and get a win here in front of his home fans. 2 pit stops in this race. We're about to charge into action. The lights go out and van der Linde makes a great start, but it's a really good start for Luca Engstler in the Lamborghini as well. He's going to get ahead of the Ferrari. So for the 2nd race running, Thierry Vermeulen loses 2nd place on the run into turn 1. Yesterday it was to the Mercedes of Lucas Auer. Today it is to Luca Engstler in the Lamborghini Temerario. And what a turn up for the books this is. Luca, fantastic job in qualifying. He wasn't necessarily expecting to go forwards in the race. He has. He's 2nd. And Lucas Auer making a good start as well. Gets ahead of yesterday's winner, Matteo Cairoli, who of course has got 20 kilograms of success ballast to carry on the car as a result of that win yesterday. Lucas Auer will have 10 kilograms on his car for finishing 2nd, and Thierry Vermeulen's got 5 kilograms of success ballast on the Ferrari because he finished in 3rd place, which is where he is at the moment. Ben Durr in 4th, a good start. Ben's been 5th in every session so far, 5th in qualifying, 5th in race 1, 5th on the grid, for this one, but he's up to 4th, ahead of Thomas Priding in 5th. Mirko Bortolotti has lost 2 places off the start. He's down to 6th place. Auer up to 7th, Cairoli down to 9th, and it's Nicky Tim and Jules Gounon rounding out the top 10. Maro Engel hasn't made any progress yet. He's running in 11th place. Just behind, that's Marco Mappelli, diving up the inside of Max Powell, 2 Lamborghini Temerarios together. So Mappelli, in his first season of DTM, very experienced GT racer, the Italian, gaining a place on the run into the chicane. On board then with Jules Gounon, who sat behind the whole race yesterday, despite his best efforts. That Porsche of Bastien Bus finished 5th, but got promoted to 4th when Bastien was later disqualified. The car slightly underweight. Nicky Tim in the green Aston Martin, trying to find a way around the outside of Matteo Cairoli at the start of lap number 2 for 8th place. Perfect start, though, for Kelvin van der Linde, the race leader. On the grid, he referred to having a set of fresh tyres as Jules Gounon tries a lunge up the inside of the Aston Martin. It doesn't quite work out. And the fresh tyres he refers to the fact that he didn't use the set of tyres for the second half of the race yesterday due to his early retirement. Here's a replay of the start then, and straight into 2nd place for Luca Engster. Top job by the driver, who, alongside Mirko Bortolotti, finished 2nd in the Nürburgring 24-hour race last weekend. On board with Mirko now. And that was him getting muscled down the order a bit from 4th on the grid down to 6th place. Oh, Bastien Bus has been into the pits. An unscheduled stop with a problem, so he's going back out. His bad luck for the season continues. It was a puncture, apparently, probably through some contact in the midfield as Matteo Cairoli gets onto the curbs of dust and almost loses the back end of the Ferrari as he loses another place out on track to Jules Gounon. Thundering over the start-finish line, heading into this right-hander at Tarzan. The legend has it that the circuit first corner is named after a gentleman, a local character, who owned a vegetable patch where they wanted to build that corner as part of the racetrack in 1948. And he said, well, I'll let you do it, but only if you name the corner after me. Hence the slightly unusual name for that first turn. The biggest overtaking opportunity on the lap. We're into the first round of mandatory pit stops then. A really key pit stop for Schubert, who are generally excellent at their pit stops. Kelvin van der Linde, the one bright spot yesterday was they actually had one of the quickest pit stops of the race. But 2 retirements out of 3, not the return to the championship he hoped for. Pole position garnered 3 points. He's only on 16 points so far. Ben Durr is in for Durr Motorsport. And Thierry Vermeulen is in as well for Emil Frey, as is Thomas Priding. Manthey changed the rears, changed the fronts. And he's dropped down off the jacks. And he comes out close to the tail of the Ferraris, much closer to Thierry Vermeulen than he was. That was an excellent pit stop by the team, who won the Teams Championship last year, with Arjen Nguyen winning the Drivers' Championship for them and Thomas Priding finishing 4th. Around the outside, though, at turn 1 is that BMW of Kelvin van der Linde, who's already made his stop. So he's the net leader. He's the first of the pit stoppers. And Luca Engster coming back through as well. He's made his pit stop at the same time as Kelvin van der Linde. So he's getting ahead of the Ferrari and the Porsche, who are both on cold tyres and will struggle for any grip for the first lap until those Pirellis get up to temperature. So it's as you were in terms of the top 3, but Priding effectively is 4th place now after that first round of pit stops, making some good progress from the 4th row of the grid. Here's Maro Engel diving up the inside of Arjen Mini. So Maro Engel dropping time in that first pit stop. It was a slow pit stop, a problem with the right rear on the Mercedes with the wheel gun. So it's a 14-second pit stop. Lost about 7 seconds, did Maro Engel in that stop. Not what the driver second in the championship needed, really. Although Lucas Auer, his nearest rival in the championship, the points leader, he's only just up the road in 9th place. Jules Gounon was another one that had a tricky pit stop. He's dropped out of the top 10. He's behind Arjen Mini, but he's about to lunge down the inside of the Indian driver as the Mercedes and the Mustang make contact on the way out of the corner. Arjen Mini onto the curbs, onto the grass, accelerating now. Finn Wiebelhaus just behind them, absolutely side by side as they climb up over the crest at Rob Slopemaker.
Let's go, let's keep fighting.
He's been egged on by his engineer, who won't give in here. He's still alongside and onto the grass and onto the gravel, and wiping out a marker board is Jules Gounon. That was over 230 kilometers an hour. The car was dancing over the grass, bumping and flying off the tarmac, and somehow Jules Gounon kept it out of the barriers. Let's have a look at a replay. This is a wild ride, look, for Jules Gounon. The car was completely sideways. Incredible reactions from the Frenchman to catch that, and he didn't even lose any time. However, because of the marker board that he's wiped out, the debris on the circuit means that the safety car has been deployed. So this safety car bunches the field up. Up to 2 laps can be added to the race distance if laps are lost to a safety car. So this is now going to become a 55-minute plus 3-lap race. Kelvin van der Linde ahead of Luca Engsler, third Thierry Vermeulen. Engsler was very frustrated over the team radio, apparently, about this safety car. Why couldn't it be full course yellow, he said. And that's not because of the fact that he's now right behind the race leader. That's good news for him. The bad news is he had a nice big gap back to everybody else in the queue behind him. Oh, onto the grass goes Nicky Tim here. And the McLaren gets by of Ben Durr before we get to the start-finish line. But Nicky was all out of shape there. As we go side by side now for second place, Thierry Vermeulen senses an opportunity here to try and get his second place back away from Luca Engsler. All the way around the outside he goes, and that is a fantastic move. But look, in the background, the Mercedes of Luca Sauer is off, and to the back of the field goes the championship leader. So on the restart, he's been caught out there.
But fully hit me, fully. My rear is fucked.
Fully hit me, says Luca Sauer. So there was contact. And we're hearing it's from the Aston Martin and Nicky Tim, which was the car that got out of shape, coming out of turn 14. Ready for the restart. Let's have a look. Yes, it was Nicky Tim. Just got out of shape on the inside of Luca Sauer, and the front left of the Aston Martin clipped the right rear of the Mercedes. Just looking, flying around the outside. Yeah, he just got out of shape, didn't he? Hit the curb, Nicky Tim, and he just washed out the front of the Aston Martin a little bit, enough to send him into Luca Sauer, who's trying to give the Austrian room, but couldn't.
So first of all, we talked already to each other, so no bad blood, but really bad for both of us. Yeah, basically destroyed the race for, as I said, for both, and never good, but also this is part of racing.
So Nicky Tim gets 3 visits to the penalty box as a result of that, which is going to cost him 5 seconds each time. That'll drop him out of the points. Luca Sauer, he's back in 19th place, out of the points. He's not been off the podium so far this year. Well, for Maro Engel, a chance maybe to get back into the championship lead, but he hasn't had a trouble-free race. Look at this, off the road, Max Powell and Finn Wiebelhaus in Lamborghini and Mustang respectively. And they're both ailing, aren't they? I think the Lamborghini went into the barriers. They both hit each other, and they're both limping back to the pits, I'm afraid. What happened here? The Lamborghini was on the inside, the Mustang was on the outside, hand in hand together coming out of turn 12. There was contact, and Wiebelhaus went into the barriers, all over the curbs. But I think with damage to the right side of the car was Max Powell in the Lamborghini. Pole sitter here 2 years ago. Huge cloud of dust. Both of them, I'm afraid, are into retirement. Into the penalty box then. For one of 3 visits comes Nicky Tim. Goes through that at 50 kilometers an hour, and it costs you 5 seconds. So he drops down, slots back in by Jules Gunon for now, but he's got more visits to come. On board with Thierry Vermeulen, that's him coming past the race leader, Kelvin van der Linde, has suddenly had a moment. That is going into the final turn at turn 14. So Vermeulen leads, the crowd erupts. The Dutch driver hasn't yet won a DTM race. He's come close, he's been on pole positions a couple of times, became podium finishes. So 5 podiums now, but he's still seeking out that first victory. We're all sure it's coming. Will it come today? Well, Kelvin van der Linde said he was going to struggle a bit on his first set of tyres, and that seemed to have been the case there. The car is okay now, but he just understeered, didn't it? He got out of shape massively going into the banked turn 14. Vermeulen pounced. Long way to go yet, though. The second round of pit stops. It's only a 6-minute pit window, this. It's going to be frenetic. Van der Linde is in, Cairoli is in, Feller is in. Let's have a look at this from Schubert Motorsport. Looks pretty good so far. It is very good. 6.7 seconds. Anything sub 7 seconds is excellent. Ricardo Feller is away. That's really good. 6.1 seconds for the man that set the fastest lap of the race on Saturday. So van der Linde, the leading pit stop ahead of the green Porsche of Feller, ahead of the pink Ferrari of Cairoli. In comes another Ferrari, Thierry Vermeulen. He'll trust the process here, and Emil Fry being excellent at their pit stops. 3 out of 3. They've been the fastest pit stoppers so far. Manthey, drop off the jacks. Thomas Preining, it's all very tight. Thomas has to wait to get out, though, and I think he made contact. Yes, he did, with Mirko Bortolotti's Lamborghini. He almost went out into the path of Thierry Vermeulen and had to stand on the brakes. But there'll be some damage to the front left corner of that Porsche at the back of this queue, and maybe some damage to the gold and black Lamborghini Temerario ahead of him. On the throttle then gets Thomas Preining, but here comes Kelvin van der Linde. His tyres already up to temperature, and he goes past the Lamborghini of Bortolotti, past the Lamborghini as well of Luca Engstler, diving down the inside through the banking, taking no prisoners. Next target is Thierry Vermeulen. This is effectively for the lead of the race. Once everybody else does their pit stops, he wants the lead back. Vermeulen, he knows he's on cold tyres. This is his opportunity. He could do with getting past him on this lap if he possibly can. And here comes Kelvin van der Linde, and he sends it around the outside, gets the job done at turn 8, and just leaves in his wake that Ferrari. So van der Linde, now the first driver to have made 2 pit stoppers. The top 6 have still got to come in again. When it all gets back to normal, he will be the race leader. Absolutely. Wants to, needs to, has to win this race after the bad luck that he's had so far if he wants to keep his championship charge alive. Strange thing to say, I know. We're only 3 races into the championship and every point counts in DTM. Now look at this, side by side, the Mercedes and Maro Engel, Nürburgring 24-hour race winner for the 2nd time last week, and Ricardo Feller, another former 24-hour race winner. They're battling over 8th place. Now look at this. We've got Thierry Vermeulen in a net 2nd, Ben Durr in a net 3rd, and then the Luca Engstler Lamborghini Temerario in a net 4th place. Everybody's made their pit stops now. Marco Wittmann's come from nowhere, look. Great pit stop strategy and great driving from the 2-time champion. He's now up into the mix as well from 13th on the grid. Ben Durr in 3rd place. He's having to make his McLaren extremely wide to keep behind him Luca Engstler and Marco Wittmann and Mirko Bortolotti and Thomas Preining. Ben Durr looking for his first podium in the DTM. He finished 2nd on track at the Sachsenring last year, but later got disqualified on a technicality. The team, Durr Motorsport, had sent the car to the grid on the wrong tyres, unregistered tyres. Didn't use them in the race, there was no problem in the race, but for an admin error, he lost his podium on front row of the grid last time out of the Red Bull Ring, and had a crash, contact with Bastian Buus, who's been knocking on the door of a podium. Now a replay of this 2nd round of pit stops. Mirko Bortolotti down the pit lane, Thomas Preining coming out. There's the contact. Definite damage to their Porsche, probably some to the Lamborghini as well. And it's under investigation. Now, Mirko Bortolotti's going to argue who's already in that pit lane. But he might, it sounds like, be getting a penalty for it. Thomas Preining's penalty is that he's got a damaged car now. And as a result, Maro Engel is about to try and go around the outside of the 2023 champion, which he does. Fantastic move. Not many people ever go around the outside of Thomas Preining, and that just shows that the Porsche is not 100% fit at the moment, but nonetheless a great move from Maro Engel. 3rd in last year's championship, 3rd in the championship the year before. Now, Luca Engstler in 5th place has got Mirko Bortolotti and Maro Engel for company, and Thierry Vermeulen ahead of them. He's in a 3-way fight as well. For 2nd, Ben Durr is with him, and Marco Wittmann is just behind in the green Schubert BMW. And look at this, Maro Engel takes the low line now, nosing ahead of Mirko Bortolotti as they go flat out through Arie Luyendyk turn, named after the 1990 and 1997 Indy 500 winner, the great Dutchman. And he's gone through, and Engel now just defends the line on the way into Tarzan to make sure that Bortolotti can't retaliate. But Engel's absolutely on it here, isn't he? Picking up more points. Lucas Auer back in 13th. As it stands, Engel is going to end the weekend, the 2nd weekend running, as the DTM Championship leader. Can he get any further up the order is the question. Now, Thierry Vermeulen, I think he's struggling with his final set of tyres, and he's coming under pressure from Ben Durr. This is for 2nd place. Side by side they go, and in the background, Maro Engel is side by side with Luca Engstler. Ben Durr goes through. Marco Wittmann is going to try and follow him in the BMW, gets better traction, gets a better run. He's through as well. So suddenly Vermeulen is dumped off the podium from 2nd to 4th. Mirko Bortolotti serves the penalty. He'll be frustrated about that. Second day running, he's had a 5-second penalty for a pit stop infringement. Yesterday it was for running side by side with Merpelli down the pit lane. Although Merpelli got a 5-second penalty as well. And yes, Maro Engel did at the same time that Ben Durr was getting past Thierry Vermeulen. Maro Engel got ahead of Luca Engstler. So Maro up to 5th place now, absolutely flying. Might be more to come as well. He's not that far behind Thierry Vermeulen in the Ferrari. So Vermeulen definitely struggling with tyre degradation. It's super hard on the tyres here. It's the left side tyres that take all the pounding here. This abrasive circuit. And here comes Maro Engel. He makes it look relatively easy as he gets through the chicane. And making up for that bad pit stop early on in the race, isn't he? Where he dropped out of the top 10. Maro Engel, with his worst grid of the year, now finds himself up into 4th place. Thierry Vermeulen down to 5th. His dreams of a win put on hold for another weekend. Still a very solid weekend with a 3rd and a 5th if it stays like this for the Dutchman. And yesterday, a day to remember after picking up his first Zandvoort podium. More battling going on in the background. Matteo Cairoli has been struggling with the car a little bit here. He's coming under fire from the Lamborghini Temerario of Marco Merpelli, the 2 Italians together. Bit of contact. The Ferrari takes 2 wheels onto the grass, tucks back in front of another Italian, Mirko Bortolotti, who's trying to recover from his penalty. So Merpelli up into the top 10, having his best run so far and his second weekend at DTM. And look at this, Marco Wittmann having a big look at the McLaren for 2nd place here. The 2014 and 2016 champion, desperate to get another few points in the bag here, but Ben Durr trying to cling on here for his best results. His first podium at DTM at Durr Motorsport. They are on edge. He's digging hard here. He's fending off 2 of the most experienced drivers out there. 2-time champion, a 19-time winner in Marco Wittmann. And Maro Engel, all of his experience, a 4-time GT world champion at Macau. Great job by young Ben Durr to fend them both off at the moment. On the final lap of the race, Kelvin van der Linde is on course for his first win of the season. Ben Durr is on course for his first podium ever. And Marco Wittmann is on course for a terrific 3rd place from 13th on the grid. In the 4 races so far this season, Marco Wittmann has made up 28 places from grid positions. They can sort qualifying out, he'll be right up there, won't he? More and more damage to that Porsche from that pit stop incident for Thomas Preining. He's going backwards, but Kelvin van der Linde is about to become a race winner once again in the DTM. Last time he won was Hockenheim 2024 at the end of his championship charge.
Hey, well done.
And he's delighted because he's a winner again on his return. Now as a BMW driver, that's his first Zandvoort victory as well, his 9th career win in the DTM. And he's absolutely thrilled. Just what the doctor ordered that after the disappointment of the season so far. Well, he was hugely disappointed yesterday, but Kelvin van der Linde said it's not in my nature to give up, and he's come back fighting. A race winner ahead of Ben Durr and Marco Wittmann. Maro Engel, Thierry Vermeulen and Luca Engstler all will be relatively satisfied with their results in 4th, 5th and 6th places as well. Only 11th today for yesterday's winner, Matteo Cairoli, but he was the star on Saturday. And Luca Sauer will lose the championship lead after that contact and that spin on the restart. He only finished in 13th place. What a drive, though, from this man, from 13th to 3rd.
What a great race, you know, from P13 to move up like this was an amazing effort. Especially after the safety car restart, we were able to attack. We had enough performance left in the tires. And also after the second pit stop with all the outlaps, a big train of 4 or 5 cars fighting, defending. So it was good fun and basically very happy with P3.
And this result has been coming for a while. Ben Durr picks up his first ever DTM podium. It's the first podium in the championship for McLaren and for Durr Motorsport as well.
Car was mega today. Also the team did a great job. We struggled a bit on the first pit stop, where I fell down on P7 I think, but second pit stop was just on point, and then I just moved up place by place and we ended up on P2 at the end. So yeah, I'm just proud to the whole team and to McLaren. I'm super happy.
There'll be nobody happier than this man, though. The South African, the man from Johannesburg, who's been 2nd and 3rd in the championship. He wants to win it this year, and he's a race winner once again.
It's crazy, this motorsport is so up and down, and you really have to sometimes pull all your energy together to fight back and not give up. We've had a lot of problems this year, so it's made it difficult to find our rhythm, but I really hope that this is the reset and we can now start fighting for races up front more often.
Well, this championship just keeps delivering. We're at it again, everybody. 4 races and 4 different winners. Wide open once again, the championship. Kelvin van der Linde heading up back into this championship fight with his first win since his return to the championship after a year away. So this is how the points table looks after Zandvoort. Maro Engel 7 points clear coming into the weekend. He's 6 points clear of Lucas Auer at the end of the races. Marco Wittmann, after that terrific drive, retains third in the championship ahead of Thomas Preining, yesterday's winner Matteo Cairoli, and Ben Durr in 6th.
For sure it's the best position to be in, but we stay focused on ourselves, trying to maximize every race and get the best possible race results and add the points at the end.
We had a splendid weekend here in Zandvoort, right at the beach with so much sunshine. It was exciting. We had so much action. And now, of course, we're looking forward to the Lausitzring. In just 4 weeks, we'll do round 3. See you then. Bye-bye.